Scotland's former First Minister Alex Salmond has re-entered frontline politics this afternoon, announcing that he's to become the leader of the new pro-independence Alba Party. The party will stand candidates in the Scottish parliamentary elections on the 6th of May.
Boris Johnson has already said no to the SNP proposals. He will find it much more difficult to say no to a parliament and a country. And the independence debate will be recast, not as the Tories against the SNP, but Boris Johnson against Scotland's Parliament representing Scotland's people. Today, Alba are hoisting a flag in the wind, planting our saltire on a hill. In the next few weeks, we'll see how many will rally to our standard.
Well, let's speak now to Sky's Scotland correspondent James Matthews, who joins us from Edinburgh. Interesting, James, to see what the implications will be for Alex Salmond's former protégé, Nicola Sturgeon, and whether or not she feels the pressure to harden her pro-independence line.
Yeah, Nicola Sturgeon not happy, certainly in the words of a statement from the SNP. Alex Salmond talking about planting a flag in the wind. Their view would be rather that he's spitting in the wind. Let me read you some of what they have had to say. They say, at this time of crisis, the interests of the country must come first and should not be obscured by the self-interest of someone who shows no sign whatsoever of reflecting on serious concerns about his own conduct. That's the view of the SNP on the launch of this Alba Party. Alba, the Gaelic word for Scotland. Alex Salmond is its leader, as you say, Isabel. He and colleagues will be standing at this forthcoming Holyrood election. The way he said they were going to play it was not try and eat into the constituency vote. They're not standing in that element of this vote, but they are standing in the list vote. Basically, that will create the potential for them eating into the votes of other pro-independence parties. That certainly would have to be the main concern, I think, of the independent-minded among the electorate. I took the opportunity to ask Alex Salmond about that. I put it to him that as a man who took Scotland to the brink of independence in India Ref 2014, is he now in danger of being the man who pulls Scotland back from the brink? This is what he had to say.
So after the 2 court cases, the jury, the 3 inquiries, it is time to move on. I wanted to talk about the future of Scotland for the last 3 years. Now I've got the opportunity, thanks to the Alba Party, and that's exactly what I intend to do. I intend to do it in an entirely positive way. We've got to establish the independence platform, which will enable us to take this country to independence.
There you go, Alex Salmond talking about a supermajority. He was also talking about this business of the last 2 years. He's a man who was acquitted at a criminal trial of sexual assault, but there were many details that were aired publicly about his behaviour, concerns about inappropriate behaviour, bullying during his term in office. And he made the point very strongly and repeatedly when he was asked in that Zoom briefing that he's been subject to 2 judges and a jury and a number of inquiries, and he has been cleared by them and is looking to move on. In terms of where he takes the politics, what he says is that he is aiming for #supermajority. That's all over the launch press release. He is saying that the strategy is not to fight the SNP, but to complement the SNP, to aim for a parliament that has a broad church of independence-minded MSPs and place the Holyrood Parliament in a place where Boris Johnson finds it more difficult to resist India Ref 2, rather than just taking on and opposing the SNP. Alex Salmond says he'll be looking at a parliament that is pro-independence, and that would create a different political dynamic. His opponents, Nicola Sturgeon among them, would beg to differ about the interests of the political imperative that is independence. She doesn't see it, and the SNP party doesn't see this intervention as helpful.
Well, either way, it's going to be a lively 6 weeks until the elections. James, thanks very much indeed. Now, the Prime Minister has backed his Conservative colleagues following sanctions by China.